What's up, YouTube? All right, so one of the things I try to do here is make mistakes so you don't have to. Actually, I don't try to make mistakes, I just do it naturally. It's a thing, I guess. So when we think about FPV can be kind of complex and a little overwhelming, I guess, at times. And when I got started in the hobby, I was kind of reaching and grabbing for a bunch of different things. I started off on analog with a little 5-inch. And then as I got more into it, I started looking at like little whoops and then Cinewhoops and started just kind of like getting all of these things. And one of those in that process was a 7-inch. I actually got this iFlight Chimera 7-inch. And I don't fly it very often. And I was thinking about trying to sell a little bit or like reduce my fleet a little bit because it's bigger than it needs to be. So I started looking at the ones I do fly versus the ones I don't. And again, the 7-inch is just one that I don't fly. So I was going to sell it. But before I sold it, I wanted to fly it one last time to see what was up. And in that, I started thinking about what are the real benefits, supposedly, of the 7-inch. And the things that you hear are long range, smooth and powerful, right? And I guess like extended battery life because of the prop size. So I'm envisioning in my head smooth cinematic flight, which is what I like, long distance, and long battery life. So that's what I remember buying this for. So I wanted to test it. And I took it out one weekend and I flew it and I felt like it lasted about as long as my 5-inch, which made me want to really dig in and understand what I was doing. So that's what this video is about. So with all that backstory, here's what I'm trying to do. I'm going to run it through a couple different tests to figure out if it's something that I should actually keep or not. And the way that I'm going to do that is by taking the 7-inch out and my 5-inch out and starting to compare flight times, flight characteristics with different batteries to see if my perception over time about the 7-inch not being much different is real or not. I'm going to document that and we're going to talk about it here. So that's what's going on. Okay, so first, let's talk about batteries. I don't know about you, but when I got into the hobby, I didn't know what battery to buy. I mean, there's the number of cells, there's all that stuff, which you know if you have a 4S quad, you have to have a 4S battery, and if you have a 6S, you have to have a 6S battery. We know all that, but it's the milliamp hours versus the weight that gets like really gray, and I haven't seen anybody really talk about how that works, or if there's a calculation you could use to understand like what you should put on your quad for the best flight time and the best flight characteristics. So I'm going to do a video on that because I went through a whole bunch of tests that I think help answer that question. So that'll be a following video from this one. But for the purpose of the 7-inch for Mr. Long Range here, which hasn't been long range, I'm going to do 3 different batteries. So the first battery, which you will look at this and think it's stupid, is I'm going to try a 1550 milliamp Lumineer 6S battery. That's not going to focus, that's fine. Because that's what I had. That's what I was using for my 5-inch. And then when I bought the Chimera, I think we were having trouble with batteries. It was the middle of the pandemic, all that goofy stuff. So I got a 2250 Xylo battery. And 2250 compared to 1550, like that's, in my mind, was a significant difference. So I took those 2 out and I flew it. And what I got out of that was that the 2250, just maybe that's the wrong battery. Maybe it's not big enough. So what I ended up buying for this test is a 2900 milliamp hour 6S Lumineer battery. There are some other differences here between the Xylo and the Lumineer. This one has, the Lumineer has a discharge rating of 120C, and the Xylo has a discharge rating of 75C. I don't think that plays too much into this because I'm not like, this is fairly smooth flight. You can see some of the footage here. There's not a lot of punching in and out. I'm not doing like a big drain on the battery, so I don't think the C rating really matters much. But man, with the 2900, the flight time is amazing. And I have to pull this up because I don't remember it, but I have it written down because I'm old. If I don't write things down, I will forget them. Not only am I old, but apparently I look like Stanley Tucci, who flies drones. That was a comment on my last video. So, you know, give me a comment. Do I look like Stanley Tucci? Am I the Stanley Tucci of drones? I don't know. Anyway, let's get back to it. Okay. So with the 2250 battery on the Chimera, I got 11 minutes and 30 seconds of flight time. With the 1550 battery, this tiny little dude, I actually got 19 more seconds of flight time on the Chimera. So 11:49 with the 1550, 11:30 with the 2250, and a whopping 17 minutes and 39 seconds with the 2900, which makes me wish I bought a 3300. But so that's crazy, right? Like the fact that this 1500 and this 2200 produce almost the exact same flight time, with the 1500 being better, is nuts to me. So what I've decided is that this little dude here isn't living all it was supposed to be because I picked the wrong fucking battery. Ugh. So again, this is me trying to keep you from making mistakes. The battery is what makes the 7-inch different. And obviously 2900 is much more extreme than the 1500 on that. So like that extreme edge is the way to go. And I didn't know that when I bought the batteries for this. So if anyone's out there and they're flying a 7-inch, you're not super happy with the range, you're not super happy with the flight time, maybe you made the same battery mistake I did. I don't know. So that's it for this video. The Chimera is super dope. I do have one more test that I want to do because it's got 7-inch props on it right now, and what I saw and bought are these 7.5-inch Cine props. That's not going to focus either, so we're going to stop trying. And these are stiff. They've got a little bit deeper well in the airfoil, and they're stiff. Like if you see, come on, focus. There we go. If you see, like these are super easy to bend. They're your typical polycarbonate, whatever props. These are like a carbon epoxy mix. Also not going to focus. There we go. Carbon epoxy mix. Again, 1/2 inch bigger. Super excited to see what that does. I probably should have done that for this video. Live and learn. You'll get an update in the battery video. I will update. So that's not a trick to get you to subscribe, but now you probably should. So you'll know when that battery video comes out. All right, y'all. That's it for today. That's it for the 7 inches of why. And hopefully you avoid the mistakes that I did. Until then, keep flying.